procrastination hold us back, and how do we overcome that? How do we become proactive and start getting things done? And I mean the right things done, so that we can live more fruitful and productive lives. That's what I want to briefly talk about in this video. This one's going to be a little shorter. Why do we allow stagnation to limit us and keep us from moving forward? We have certain successes, certain goals in mind, certain targets we want to hit, certain promises we've made, but we're not fulfilling them. Why? It's a question we have to answer for ourselves. Now, one of the reasons could be a lack of confidence. You have a lack of confidence that you can get something done, that you can do it, or maybe you started off confident and you're just going to get this done or that done. Start practicing for that particular sport, or go and read that book on personal development and success secrets, or whatever activity you said you was gonna do. You was gonna get the chores done around the house, or get that honey-do list taken care of, and you started, and it became more challenging for you, and you decided that, hey, you know what, I ain't got to do this. I don't want to do this because it's become overwhelming to you, overbearing to you, or you just say, you know what, I don't want to do it. Forget confidence. You just get to the point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this, and so you don't. Why? What is there a mental block there? Is there something in our experience that's keeping us from moving forward, getting these things knocked off the list, being successful in life so that we can do better things, so we can become a better person, so we can have better results, so we can have, so that we can earn more trust with our loved ones and earn more respect? What is it? Why do we allow that? What does procrastination really mean? Most people treat procrastination like a personality flaw or a bad habit. But what if it's a pattern? What if it's a belief? What if it's a mindset that's quietly sabotaging your next level? If you want to move from where you are to where you want to go, or where you believe you should be, we have to have these sit-down moments. Some people call it in the world when they need to have life-changing moments, real life-changing moments. They call them come to Jesus moments, right? You need to come to yourself moment, and be honest with yourself. Ask yourself those tough questions. Meditate on those questions. Somebody you love, or even sometimes a stranger, maybe you're a coach, ask you some tough questions that it was tough to answer at the time, but it causes you to sit down and think and say, why am I this way? Why am I that way? Am I a bad person? Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just a block. Maybe you are unaware of the blockage that's keeping you from moving forward. I hope this video helps you out. And if you know somebody else who is struggling with the same issue or the same challenge, share this video with them. You have to decide. I will tell you what you have to do. Your option is to decide that I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with myself. Maybe talk to my mentors or my parents or my pastors, and ask them some questions about what do they think about your personality? What do they think about you? The goals you have set. Do they believe that you have certain tools? What is there something you're missing? Because if we don't ask those questions, we're going to linger through life, and before you know it, 5 years can pass by, 10 years can pass by. Your spouse may be upset with you, have some offense in their hearts against you because you didn't get such and such done that you said you're going to get done. You was going to go and buy that washer, that dryer, or you was going to set out his clothes or cook that meal, or whatever it is. And see, this is not just about financial success. This is about personal success, character-based success. This is about keeping your word, integrity, virtue. This spans across all areas in life because people procrastinate in many different areas for different reasons. Some of them are most common reasons. We must become aware. We must become aware that there's a problem. Then we can move forward because you start asking the right questions. You're going to get some of the right answers. Then you're going to have an opportunity to make some decisions to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do better. I'm going to start. But don't always put the start off for later. Sometimes now is the best time to overcome that hump, as people call it. So again, let me say this. Most people treat procrastination like it's a personality flaw or a habit. It can become a habit to you. I like to say procrastination is an outcome. It's a result. It's not a cause. So if you lack it in confidence in getting something done, learning that instrument, learning about that, how to get that degree to be a medical person, in the medical field, or a lawyer or a business person, whatever that is. If you're saying I can't see myself spending another 4 to 8 years in school because I've had a hard time studying my tests and I don't like how it makes me feel, I get anxiety and all that kind of stuff, that's a mindset. I would encourage you to take that test, take that field of study and make it smaller. My father says a problem, when it looks like this is how we treat a lot of our problems. They're right in our faces. And so we can't see any solutions. All we see is the problem. And it's so big, you can't see your way around it. But if you pull it away, okay? If you pull it away and see it for what it is, now you see all other options. Other ideas and options can be presented to you. Solutions to overcome that issue. Open yourself. Inspire yourself, encourage yourself, motivate yourself. Now, I'm going to break this problem down into small, bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to break it. Then I'm going to break it down and isolate those pieces, kind of like pieces to a puzzle. Okay, isolate those pieces, take them apart before you get the whole together, and look at it for what it is, not for what you at first imagined it. At first, it was this big. Now it's this small. Once you shift your perspective, game changer. But you got to act on it. But you shift your perspective, and it's a game changer for you. Let's go to the next, number 2, internalization. Why do we procrastinate, and what is it costing us? Procrastination is often a fear-based response. It can be fear-based of fear of failure, fear of success, fear of discomfort. Some people are literally afraid of success. Why? They're going to have to maintain a certain image, maintain a certain level, probably ask themselves questions. How do I keep being successful? What if I fail once I become successful? I mean, when you start generating, when you start creating, when you start receiving these ideas, these negative ideas and negative components, you can destroy your momentum. Yes, we can be affected from external sources, but those are choices we must make to receive that information or not. See, life is choice driven. So if something negative is coming to you, something positive coming to you, you have a choice in both situations to decide what you're going to receive and what you're going to reject. And I've known of people throughout the years who have received, 10 people can come in, 9 out of 10 people can come in and say, hey man, that's a nice suit, man. Lady, that's a beautiful dress. It fits you well. In a nice complimentary form. But the 10th person come in and said, I wouldn't be caught dead in that. You wore that? Man, ooh, that's too short. Now they pick you apart. And many people will focus on that one negative comment and over the 9 positive of the 9 compliments. So we have to be careful of that. That is our choice. You get to choose that. So choose wisely. You get to literally choose how you see your entire life, how you see each and every problem, how you see each and every bit of information. It's your choice. Me. Say me. Me. It's my choice. You know what? Yeah, anyway, I ain't gonna go there. All right, here's the last thing we need to do. Execution. I think this is the most critical part, because you can know something and do nothing about it. You can know something and not understand it. But if you know something, you understand it, but you do nothing with it. It's even worse than someone who doesn't even know. Why? Because you know better. Y'all heard that saying before, right? You know better, but you don't do better. And that's what we have to be if we want to be successful in life in whatever area. Again, I haven't manifested my $1 million yet, for example. That doesn't mean I don't understand certain principles about it. I'm working my way towards that. But what I'm saying is, just because I don't have $1 million doesn't mean I can't say something about it. But would I encourage you to talk to someone who actually is doing it? Of course I would. Of course I would. But I know this: millionaires are using certain principles that thousandaires and 100,000aires will use. It's the same principles. Have you ever heard the term? I know you've heard the term. Many people have heard this term. To whom much is given, much is required. The greater the more you learn, the more you can acquire, and the more responsibility is going to be expected of you. You will become more accountable. Some people are afraid of that. So you really can choose. If you have 3 levels, A, B, and C. A is let's say A is okay, B is average or normal, and C is above normal. You literally can choose what level you operate at. Okay, average or normal, or above average. What do I need to do next to break this cycle? Now that we've exposed the pattern, we need to replace it with a new process. That's all. Change. I'm learning something from my mentor about systems. Change your system. You have been operating on a default system of procrastination. That's one of the things. I ain't gonna say that's the only issue or the only outcome you've been experiencing, but it has also cost you in so many other areas of your life. Don't stop operating on the process. Don't stop operating on the system. Change your system. Change your process. Then you're gonna begin to change your results. That's it. I'm telling you, even if you do it in the small things, if you've been too lazy to get up and do your laundry. I've said that before. If you're too lazy to prepare your meal the night before, the night before work, right? And you know you need to prepare your lunch because if you don't do it tonight, you ain't gonna do it in the morning. Then you're gonna spend some money that you don't need to spend. Then start now. I'm gonna prepare my lunch for tomorrow. I'm gonna prepare my clothes for the next day, or I'm gonna create my calendar, my list. Whatever that is, start now. Now, if you're driving, obviously don't do it right now. But my point is, don't think of later. Think of now. So whatever now is to you, think of now. Now means you're going to be proactive now, in the present moment. Later is in the future. And many people don't, when they get to that level, when they get to that point in time, they've already forgotten and they don't get the job done. So now, what was later becomes now and then becomes later again. You see the cycle? So change all that. We are more powerful than we really realize. So change that. Start executing on the right things. You have been executing, but on the wrong things. I don't want to stop you from executing. I want to help you change what it is you're executing at or being productive at. There's positive productivity and negative productivity. I want to help you move to positive. And that's just doing the basic things. For some people, there's some greater things. You know what level you are at. These principles, though, they work for anybody at any level. Successful people financially, successful people career-wise, successful people in relationships, successful people in the sporting arena, and entertainers. They all operate in some level on these very basic principles. If you want to be successful in life, the choice really is yours. You have that decision to make. Not me, not God, not anybody else. It's really up to you. So if you decide to do that, go and make it happen. Let me know in the comments what you liked or what you didn't like about this today's topic. Or what did you hear that actually impacted you? Was it right up your alley? And I look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, maximize the moment. I'll see you next week.